Welcome back to another week of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury, brought to you by our great friends at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC in beautiful downtown Listowel, and of course our friends at the Listowel Squash Courts. Ryan Drury, Clarkey joining me. I'm back from the West Coast, best.
Yes, we'll talk about it later.
I'm back, and we are very excited to have our resident golf expert. It's the PGA Championship coming up this weekend. Ian Doig of the Ian Doig Golf Academy. Doigy, it's great to have you on. We have a lot of business to attend to, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah.
We'll talk about the Leafs in a bit. Okay, just so everyone watching and listening, we are going to dive into the Leafs. Don't worry.
Now we need to get some important business out of the way right away, because of course we're going to make some picks. We got to make some golf picks for this PGA Championship. And of course, last time this occurred, Chuggy came in last minute, and there she is. And she made a excellent selection of the dregs of the tournament, if you will. She had a 4-pack after we had made all our picks.
No pressure.
And she won.
No pressure. Yeah, just sit back and then Clarkey, I'll pick this guy. No pressure. There's so much more pressure.
Okay, Clarkey, I've had about enough of this asterisk nonsense. She beat us fair and square. And if you think it's so simple to come in and just pick your guys after everybody else, why don't you give it a run? That's my proposal to you, Mr. Asterisk.
Okay, go ahead.
Drury,
Go ahead. Yep.
Okay.
I love it.
Go ahead.
So we will do a 4-round snake draft.
Yep. Okay.
And then you can come in after.
I'll just sit back and take my time and pick some guys. Okay, good. We're on.
Good for you.
We're on. We're on. I like that.
So it's Doigy, Drury, Chuggy.
That's right.
And then Clarkey comes in at the end.
Yeah, swoops in at the end. Okay,
he'll have his
Chuggy. It's good.
All right, I'm going first.
So you have to pick all yours
just all of a sudden, like Ian's
done.
going first, like we just decided.
Well, he finished last.
Yeah, that's
true. He finished last time. So we're gonna get it set up.
I'll write it down.
You'll write it down. Okay.
One and only John Rahm.
Jonathan Rahm. I like that.
Who's next?
How can you not like that pick? I'm next, and then Chuggy back to back. Because remember, you don't get to pick anybody till we're all done.
No, I'm ready. Yep.
So
I'll be ready.
John Rahm. I mean, it's such a great pick. I just think that this guy's going to bounce back. He loves this golf course, and eventually, this guy's got to come good. I gotta take Rory McIlroy. I gotta take Rory. I gotta take him. Chuggy, back to back.
Chuggy.
Back to back. Well, I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, yeah.
And my next pick is going to be Tony Finau.
Oh, I like that a lot. Tony's feeling it. He dominated Mexico, and everybody loves Tony, the most popular guy on the tour. I love Tony Finau. I would like to take a man named Patrick Cantlay. I will take him. Doigy back to back.
Well, I am going to take Brooks Koepka. And I actually think he's about to break through. Xander Schauffele.
Oh, wow. I like that. I like Schauffele. I like that. My third pick, I will take Victor Hovland. And now Chuggy back to back. These are your final two picks.
Well, I will take JT.
Justin
like
Thomas.
That. Like that a lot.
Okay.
And J Day.
Ooh, coming off a win, Jason Day.
I like that. Jason Day, man. Another really popular guy. How do you not like that, dude? You know what? I'm going to make this pick my final pick because I recently bought a pair of these shoes. And they are so comfortable. And I now understand why this young Englishman is rocking around in these things. I am going to take Matt Fitzpatrick.
I'm not very happy with you right now.
I apologize. I had to take my guy, Matty Skechers.
Okay. I had my eye on him. I might... you know what? DJ, Dustin Johnson.
Wow. I like that. Mr. Paulina Gretzky.
Well,
I like it.
He's just coming off of a win. He won in the playoff.
He is. He won in that weird three-way playoff that CBS randomly cut off of, or it was the CW.
CW randomly cut off.
Yeah. It's like, okay,
we're done.
We don't need to see any more of this nonsense. What a joke. Okay, so there's our
There you go. Do you want me
picks.
to recap? You want me to recap?
Please.
Ian Doig, John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Schauffele, and Dustin Johnson. Chuggy, Scheffler, Finau, Thomas and Day, Ryan, Rory, Cantlay, Hovland, and Fitzpatrick. Very good.
I like it. Clarkey. So Clarkey,
very good.
You've been very heroic with your asterisk comments the last month and a bit. We've heard enough. It's time for you to put your chips in the middle of the table and see how simple this is. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'm going to pick Cam Smith.
Yep.
Okay, like that, Mr. Australia.
Tyrrell Hatton.
Yeah.
Temper tantrum Tyrrell.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be easy, Clark.
Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
I like that one.
And Morikawa.
You took my boy. I said I left him there to see if you would sneak around.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
there you go. Now I just sit back. I have no pressure.
That's a pretty good team, Clarkey. But
that's
we'll see
bad.
where you stand on Sunday night.
Yep.
Good luck, guys.
Okay, she's out. She's out. She did her job. She's out.
As she should be. She's the reigning champion. So
reigning champ. She can do whatever she wants.
100%.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You know who can't do whatever they want? The Toronto Maple Leafs in the second round. And we thought, let's take a sudden shift here. I need
hand in hand with golf.
No, well, doesn't it? Yeah, they're probably
that's what they're doing
picks,
now.
aren't they?
Well, they're golfing. They're out there golfing.
Yeah.
First of all, obviously I was in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia last weekend, and I obviously watched the games, and I'm genuinely wondering. By the way, Clarkey did a great job hosting the show all by himself. It was
a fun show, with Dark Guy and Angle in the same
star-studded lineup. Let's go here.
Yeah, it was good.
Sean Fitzgerald, our friend from The Athletic.
Yeah, it was a good lineup.
Now, you guys were feeling very optimistic after the Game 4 win to salvage the season at that point, and they played pretty well.
Clarkey might have been. I wasn't.
Okay, Ian, you take over. How are you feeling after this latest debacle, we'll call it, because they really got their show run by the Florida Panthers?
To be honest with you, I checked out in Game 3. I literally watched a movie. I watched the first period and then checked out and watched a movie. I was traveling back from Florida, and I couldn't watch it anymore. I as a lifelong Leaf fan, I just couldn't subject myself to watching that poorly played hockey. And it was frustrating. And so, you know what? Did I come back and watch some of the most of Game 4? Sure. And I watched most of Game 5 too, but not all of it. I went and did other things and came back and would check on the scores. It's disappointing. And, I start to look back now and who do you blame? Do you blame Shanahan? Do you blame Dubas? Do you blame Keefe? Do you blame the players? I mean, who does it fall on? I mean, when Dubas went out and made all the moves near the deadline, we all thought that he had done the right stuff to get the team over the hump, but they couldn't do it. So why is that? Why can't they do it? Are they just trying to do it sheer talent alone, and that core four thinks that everybody else is just going to bow down to their overpowering talent? Well, that's not the way hockey's played in the playoffs, and we know that. And it's very disappointing. Very disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Clarkey, your summation of how you were feeling after Game 5?
Disappointing is a really good word to use. You just feel that it was there for the taking, and it was a road to the Cup final that maybe we haven't seen in a long time with the other big dogs getting knocked off. But it's like I've said all along. And there's one guy I'm gonna really pinpoint, and that's Mitch Marner. And they can talk about all the points he gets and everything else, but secondary assists, I don't count. Like, it could hit your skate and go to a guy. Like, he makes some good passes, but he doesn't work. And he's too freaking fancy. And I've called him Mr. Fancy Pants for 2 or 3 years now. And I really think watching him in the playoffs solidifies my feeling when it comes to him being too fancy. He doesn't work hard. Like, it's unbelievable, like, how this guy just skates around and thinks his talent's just going to take over, and he doesn't have to work. They got outworked. Plain and simple, they got outworked.
Clarkey, the funny thing about that is he skates around. He'll skate 25 kilometers a night in a game.
Sure.
But doesn't really accomplish much. And in that last game, I think it was the second period, in one shift, he had 3 giveaways in one shift.
Yeah.
But he was still back there.
Passes,
he had 29 and a half minutes of ice time.
Yeah.
After having 3 giveaways in the same shift. So to me, that's coaching. Like,
I will say, though, he got benched a couple shifts in that second period no one talked about. He missed a couple shifts in a row. But missing a couple shifts, whatever, right? But yeah, it's very disappointing that these guys can't do it. I thought Willie Nylander, once again, last year he was their best player, and in Game 5 he was their best player. He was invisible in a couple of other games. But when that guy wants to go, and that's why he's so frustrating to watch, like, that was a great goal, that tying goal late in the game. It was a great goal. And it was just him turning on the jets and saying, look out, I'm coming. And we didn't see that enough from the other guys, which is very disappointing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying refereeing had anything to do with this series, but it was very frustrating to see how these games were being called. We watched last year in Game 7 a call on Justin Hall when Johnny Tavares scored that you don't see getting called anywhere. And then we saw in overtime Gudas grabbing the stick of a Leaf player and totally interfering with him and snowing the goaltender and not getting called. I'm sorry, but not that I thought that would get called, but there's no consistency with this refereeing. And Mitch Marner gets elbowed in the head or chest, like with 5 seconds left in the third period. Blatant, like unbelievable. No call. Like, it's just, and then you see stuff like that, and you see how Gudas ran into Kampf in the corner in one of the games, and then you see Brody flip the puck totally by mistake over the glass, which it would have hit the glass if the boards were at the bench, and gets a call in overtime. Luckily, they killed it off. But I just have a problem with the league when it comes to those chintzy calls and not calling charging and boarding and things that really have.
I saw to cut in here. I saw an interview with I think it was Elliot Friedman and Brindamore the other day.
Yeah. I saw it. What do you say?
And
I've said it for years too.
Take rid of the officials off the ice and put them in the bench.
Yep.
Will open up space. There'll be less in play, and let them make the calls based on video review. So that goal in overtime automatically goes to video review, and the referee can look at it and say, we're not going to count this because we should have called a penalty.
Yeah.
The thing about that goal is it was in the net. The cheering was going on. The Florida Panthers were off the bench and huddling before the referee could even make a call. And so now all of a sudden, to me, it almost looked and felt like, well, we can't make the call now. They've already celebrated the victory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
No, but they can take Morgan Riley's goal back.
Yeah.
Camera angles did show that not after the fact when it did go in the net, but originally when it went in the net. Did he shove his pads? Who knows? But the puck did definitely look like it was over the line. But whatever. Again, they didn't lose this series because of the refereeing.
That goal. That goal. Yeah, I agree. Like we've talked till the cows come home, and we'll continue to in the future about the inefficiency of refereeing and the bad calls. But I agree with you there, Clarkey. It's not the reason they lost, because it rolls both ways. The the high stick that wasn't called on Hagel, I think it was, in the Tampa series before Tavares scored.
Well, what about Bunting getting cut?
Okay. Yes,
what the hell? I know. There's blood. What does he got to do? Does he got to bleed more? Is that what it says in the rule book? You have to bleed more?
I understand. But it rolls both ways. And I'll say this again. Yep. Every single team that's ever won a Stanley Cup had brutal calls against them on the way. I
benefited
from brutal calls too.
And that's the unfortunate thing about this freaking league at times.
It is, because you wonder for sure. It makes you wonder. Now, the Morgan Riley non-goal, it was the right call on the ice, unfortunately. And I agree with our friend Steve Dangle. I don't know if you watched his show this week. I'd encourage everybody to go watch their shows this week. They were really good. And I agree with Dangle. Do I believe that puck was probably across the line at some point during live play? Yes, I do. Can I definitively prove that it was in? No, I cannot.
No, I get it. I get it, man. I get it.
If that goal had counted against my favorite team, I'd be flipping tables over. So unfortunately.
No, I get it. But again, it goes to the NHL, Ryan. Put some cameras in the bottom of the goalpost looking across the line. There's cameras.
You wonder how long it's going to be until that stuff
ridiculous
gets
they don't
put
have
in
already.
So
anyway,
it really brought back, and they mentioned it on Dangle's show. It was shades of Martin Gelinas against Tampa in the 2004 Cup final. You talk to people in Calgary, they still maintain that puck was across the line. And
no, I know.
Unfortunately,
I gave them credit coming back, and they got 50 shots in the game. They could have won, but they got to put the puck in the net, and they only did.
They saved their best hockey for too late. Yeah, you're down 3-0. Sure. It is.
Oh no, it's for sure. Game
utterly
2 is impossible. In my mind.
Yeah,
2 minutes in game 2 cost them the whole series.
Right. Well, my question is this: as good as they played in game 4. And they did play well in game 5. How do you not play like that in your first 3 games?
That's kind of my thing here.
Because they thought they're playing the Florida Panthers, not the Boston Bruins. We just got to go out there and put in a showing. We don't have to work hard. Well, they got
the Florida Panthers have kind of an air of that LA Kings team that snuck in as the 8th seed back in the day. And I said it to you already, Clarkey, their stick checking is the best of any team left in the playoffs. Their stick checking's ridiculous. Yep. Here's what it is, though. You have 3 guys that make over $10 million, and only one of them scored 1 single goal.
Right.
I'm sorry. I remember saying if Clarkey, if they blew it against Tampa again, they'd be the biggest bunch of losers I've maybe ever seen. Even though they made progress, I kind of still feel in the same boat. And I'll be honest, I'm bored of talking about this group of players.
So I'm bored. Let's move on and talk about what's next. I would love to hear. Now, we're sitting here on Wednesday night. Things have to happen soon here, because there's a lot of work to do, and a GM whose contract is expiring very shortly. But Doigie, what do you do? And I know you and Ryan were sort of chatting about it beforehand. I said, save it for the show. What would you do if you're the owner of the Maple Leafs?
Well, the first thing I would try to do is get Matthews re-signed. I think Matthews is worth keeping. I want to get rid of Marner, but I've wanted to get rid of Marner for 4 or 5 years now, and nobody would listen to me. But
don't say nobody.
Keep Matthews, keep Nylander. I think Nylander's got the most talent of anybody on the team. I mean, it's ridiculous how good he is, and we just got to figure out a way to get him to play hard all the time. But then my next question would be the coaching. All right, figure out what we're going to do with the coaching, because I like Keefe as a coach, but he just can't seem to push the right buttons at the right time. And that's been proven. How many 6 years how many years has he been here? But that's what I would do. Get rid of Marner, find a new coach. Let's move on. Kind of shore things up with
Dubas, Shanahan.
Sorry?
Dubas, Shanahan?
I would keep Shanahan. I think he's done a good job. I think the culture of you listen to all the players that come, they say it's a great organization. And I think what Shanahan's brought to Toronto is what they had in Detroit with Illich and the things that Illich did, the classy things. And look, I played golf with David Keown a few years ago. And he, at the time, had nothing to do with the Leafs, and I talked to him about it and a little bit, and he didn't think he would ever be back, and then Shanahan got him to come back, and things like that. I think Shanahan's done a great job, and I like what he's done, so I'd leave him alone. I think he's good for the organization personally. But we got to do something. Hall's got to go.
Yeah, that's fine. But Dubas, you didn't talk about Dubas.
Again, who are you going to get that's going to be any better?
It's kind of my thought, Doigy.
Who's available? Like I don't know who's available that's any better out there, right?
I don't either. Like that's kind of my position, and I kind of feel the same way. Like if they want to change the coaching staff, fine. And I know my boys, the Capitals, are already talking to Spencer Carberry about potentially filling our vacant head coaching
Calgary,
position. So you might, and Calgary too. So you're likely going to lose him anyway. He should have been a head coach a couple of years ago. The Caps never should have let him leave the organization. If you're going to make changes there, I'd probably be fine with it. Again, I don't blame Keefe. However, it kind of does feel a little bit like what I used to feel about Bruce Boudreau. A lot of great regular seasons, and then he'd get ragdolled in the playoffs. And hey, the players play, but I think everybody that's watched, pretty much in consensus of every series he's been involved in, even the win against Tampa, he was largely outcoached. Weird matchups, weird utilization of players at odd times, way too much, reticence to remove Hall from the lineup. Finally, he did. I mean, he isn't able to adjust. He sticks with guys, even though they're getting ragdolled on the ice, and waits till it's almost too late to make a change. And that to me just, I don't know. So if a change is going to come there, I'd be fine with it. Honestly, for as much as Kyle Dubas may be maligned by some people, I think the last couple seasons, he's given this team, and especially after this trade deadline, there was nothing but positivity on Leafs Twitter, almost universally. And that's almost impossible on Leafs Twitter. There's always arguments.
I think with Dubas, what he did this year was the moves that he made, he went away from the analytics, because he's always made his moves based on analytics, but he actually went away from that and brought in Hart. He brought in Hart, in Lafferty and Ryan O'Reilly and those guys. So I think maybe he's learning, he's evolving. Yes, he still looks at the analytics, because, when you question him about Marner and that, he looks at the analytics and says, well, the analytics say that he had a great playoff. But in reality, he didn't, because he didn't play with the heart that he needs to play with. So is Dubas learning? Yes, I think he is. And I think, honestly, I'd probably give him another year and see what happens. Put him on another 1-year contract and see what happens. And if it doesn't get done, then out. Clarkey doesn't like that, but I think I'd give him 1 more year.
Well, I mean, they have so much money that they'd get him a multi-year deal, and if they felt like after a year it still wasn't working, they'd fire. Like, because they have the money, they don't need to worry about paying multiple guys, that they've fired. That they just finished paying Mike Babcock. The Leafs have so much, they don't care.
I'm just saying, there's no way
I'd bring him back.
1-year deal.
No, absolutely not. I would bring him back too. I would bring him back too. I just think that he did everything and more over the last couple, particularly this season, to give this team the reticent tools, and almost everybody was in screaming agreement that they loved these moves, and the players crapped their pants. And I was on our buddy Dwayne from Buffalo's podcast last night, Clarkey, and I said on there, I think this might be a situation where these core guys, they're all talented enough to be big parts of Stanley Cup winners, but I don't know if it's together. I don't know if it's here. Like We saw Kadri leave and do it. We've seen other guys leave other franchises and do it. Think about Mike Richards and Jeff Carter back in the day, those massive, crazy Philly LA trades. Of course, Carter, came from Columbus after, but like think about that stuff and they go and win a cup. I just don't know if these big four guys can do it together here. So they're going to have some tough decisions. I think for sure they got to try and find a hound dog on the blue line. And I'm not even talking about, a two-way offensive guy. I'm talking about like they got to go and get an elite defender. And they've got the pieces to be able to go do that. But does someone in that front office have the stones to say, hey, we could go get this and maybe some other pieces for one of these big guys and really transform a lot of the ice time that gets taken up on that team? Because look, I've had people for years say, well, don't they remind you of the Caps? Don't they remind you of the Caps? Caps made lots of changes. Ovi and Nick stayed, but here's the difference. Here's the what Clarkey, I've talked to you for years about the similarities. Here's the difference between my Caps of old and your Leafs. Ovi and Backstrom always showed up in the playoffs. Up until the other day, when Joe Pavelski tied him, Ovi was the active leader in playoff goals with 72. Sid was behind him with 71. And that was with Ovi playing 32 less playoff games than Crosby. Nick Backstrom always had 7 or 8 assists.
Yeah.
The problem with the Caps was the rest of the team was not pulling on the rope, and they had shoddy goaltending, a goaltending graveyard before Holtby showed up. The Leafs' problem is worse because your bottom guys showed up. In Game 3, David Kampf led the Leafs in shots on goal.
And his face-off percentage was unbelievable. So guess who Gudas is going to run? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Story.
That was BS.
But when him and Sam Lafferty scored a goal to open the scoring.
No, hey, man, I agree.
Your big guys are the ones that disappear. And I don't care what sport you're playing. If Tom Brady doesn't make throws, if LeBron James doesn't hit a three, the big dogs have to show up. And there is just such a problem there. I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
So how much of an idiot am I?
What do you mean?
By saying...
You really want me to answer that?
By saying... I don't think they should do anything. Like, it hurts me to say that. But there's no magic formula. We can all agree to that. There's no magic formula. There's no saying if you trade Mitch Marner and bring in Drew Doughty or whoever you bring in, that this team, whoever, Cale Makar, whoever, that they're going to win the cup. There's no magic formula. I know the definition of insanity, I think, is doing the same thing over and over and thinking you're going to
and expecting a different result. Yeah.
But like I think of right from the top, Shanahan, I hear what you're saying about Shanahan, but I won't shed a tear if he goes because I don't know if he interferes. I don't know how much say he has, whatever.
Well, I do know this, Clarkey, I do know this, that the goal song that they play after every goal.
Which is ridiculous.
They got to get rid of that.
I know they got to get rid of that, but I've heard that is kept because his kids like that song.
Yeah, I've heard that too, which tells you something. Anyway, can I finish here?
Yes.
So Dubas, as you said, who's better? I don't think anybody. I think this guy would be, even though he says I'm not going to pop up somewhere else next week, well, maybe you would in a month because somebody would get hired. Guaranteed this guy would get hired. No question about it. Calgary's looking for a GM. Pittsburgh. There's teams out there. So that's that. Sheldon Keefe. Yes, he plays Hull a lot. And then he benched him. But then he brings him back and plays him the most minutes. I don't know how that can happen. But who's better? Who's better? Is Jared Gallant better? Is Mike Babcock better? I know there's a lot of young coaches out there right now, but I don't think you can bring in a non-NHL coach right now to this team. You can't do it. So who's better? Here's the guy who's better. Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz has agreed to be the GM in Nashville. Is he gonna bail on that? I don't think he can, but can he bail on that and get a head coaching job? Maybe it's in his contract. I don't know. But if Barry Trotz comes available,
not going to do that.
If Barry Trotz, I'm just saying, if he is available, I would do that. But I don't think. I think Sheldon.
They missed the boat on that. Coach. They waited. I agree.
Too long. I agree.
You know what?
I agree. But you have a team that's having a great season. You're not going to fire him during the season.
I recall on being on the show one time where I brought up Trotz, saying that that's who I would have brought in, and Clarkey went crazy on me.
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
Here's the thing with
but
Barry,
anyway, so
right? I love the guy, but like now that he's back in Nashville, a place where he just has so many ties, and of course his son, the situation with his son and everything, like loves it there. He's not going anywhere now. But
I've seen and heard him on podcasts in the last 6 months saying his dream one day is to coach a Canadian team and an Original Six team. Well, there's only 2 of those. And he's not coaching in the French market. So anyway, I'm just saying, if all of a sudden, and
if it ever came up,
I would take him over Sheldon Keefe. And
so would I. I'd take him back in Washington in a friggin' heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Hello, Uncle Ted.
Absolutely.
Uncle Ted, are you there?
Bruce Boudreau, no. Bruce Boudreau, if you want to bring in Brucey as an assistant, bring him in.
To run the power play, sure. So that they could maybe score on it in the playoffs,
Yeah, exactly. Well, they weren't that terrible. You
can't bring him in as the head coach
in the first round, but no, not a chance. Yeah, not a chance. Anyway, I don't know. I think we would be kicking ourselves if we broke this team up. But again,
a lot of regular season success. I mean,
right.
They punch a ticket every year.
I know.
So
and year after year, we're disappointed in the playoffs. But I don't know. Like, Ryan, I just don't see how you can win a Mitch Marner trade. It's going to be tough.
Ryan, how many years did your Capitals struggle before they won the Cup? What year did they win? 2019?
2018. So I would say they started becoming a consistent playoff team in 09 and then 10. So, I mean, a good 8-9 years of like, this will be their year, Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A good while.
When you think about it, that's right where we're at. We're at year 6-7.
Yeah. But they changed their coach in that time. They changed some players in that time. And as he
coach
said,
about 5 times.
Right.
How many coaches did we friggin' go through? And also, we changed. I know people are like, well, the Caps, Ovi. Dude, the supporting cast, like the whole thing when the Caps were revived from the dead around the grade 8 was the whole young guns, the Rock the Red thing came back. They changed the jersey back to the red and everything. All those guys except for Ovi and Backstrom were gone when they won.
Yeah.
Alex Semin gone. Keep in mind he scored 40 goals one year, and look, he reminds me of Nylander. I've said that to you before. Mike Green. My heart hurt when we won the Cup. I loved Mike Green. God,
I liked him too.
I felt bad. Yeah. Mike Green, gone. Brooks Laich, gone.
Yeah.
And then all the myriad of veteran guys we tried to bring in. Jason Arnott and like Adam Oates as the coach, trying to be all innovative. Like they made a lot of changes.
They did.
Well, and the Leafs have made a lot of changes in the last couple of years, right?
They have. It's this core of guys making $40 million that they disappear. Like,
and and Matthews is gonna make more in a month, because if they're gonna keep him, they're gonna have to sign him to more money.
And he better not sign for a nickel more than what those other 2 big cats are making. I don't care that he scored 60. That's neat. 60 goals. It's an incredible feat that no one can ever take away. What does it mean if you never win a Stanley Cup? Who cares?
He'll be the highest paid player in the league.
That's a joke to me. Because listen, like I said this last night too on the show, I was on Clarkey. I'd love your thoughts on this. Look, we've talked about this before. I get it. Like state income tax and guys technically make more in other markets and whatever. But just objectively, when I look at the raw numbers and I see that, for instance, Mitch Marner makes more than Nikita Kucherov, I just am like, how? I see that Austin Matthews makes more than Sidney Crosby and just a shade under what McDavid makes. Guys like that. I'm like,
That's the only mistake. Not the only mistake. That's the biggest mistake Dubas has made in his tenure. No question about it. He didn't negotiate well with those guys. He's proved to me he can make good trades, and he can build a team, and he can change on the fly, and he can yell at fans.
He gets bullied in contract negotiations.
He has. And
it's quite clear.
Stop. It's got to stop.
Because those guys got paid like they won 2 Stanley Cups.
Right. And now what did, who was it that just signed with Boston? Pasternak? Who just signed?
Oh, Pasternak. Yeah.
11.
Really good contract.
11?
I think it's 11. I think it might be 11 even. I think it might be 11 even, but significant dollars.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think he'll last for 13, but we'll see.
I do too. I think he'll last for 13.
Yeah. And probably. I'm not giving him 13 over 2-3 years. Right. Sign 8 years.
If you give him 13, what do you end up giving McDavid?
Well, when he's up in 3 years,
because he's coming to Toronto.
Well, okay. Now we're getting crazy. This is about a good time to stop the segment.
Hometown guy.
Yeah. You signed a hometown guy. It's worked out really well for you, hasn't it? I just want to say,
are you talking about O'Reilly?
No,
I'm talking about
Tavares.
I'm talking about Tavares. And I'm not trying to bag on him, but just I said it then, and I get it. It's easy to
don't want to hear it again now. Don't want to hear it again.
I just don't think they should have signed him. Like I'm not changing my position on that until he proves me wrong, and they win.
And that's what I'm saying. I just think, and call me crazy, I think this group can do it. I really, really do. But
if they do, any one of them could be the prime minister of the country and the mayor of the city and the mayor of the province.
No question.
We'll save this video clip for if that happens, buddy.
Yeah.
And there's look.
I just want to know, is my chair still tied to the post down there downtown Toronto? I tied it down there in about 1980.
It's rusty. It's rusted out. No, it's rusted
out. They tossed it out. Dang.
Yeah, it's rusted out.
They might have.
And you got on and off the bandwagon too much today. You're not getting first row.
No, he hasn't. Come on now.
Yeah, he has. Chuggy and I will be down there ahead of him.
Okay.
We didn't turn off any games. We didn't do anything.
I'll stand with him in the back row then. Doigy,
anyway,
it's been
another
a pleasure.
Disappointing
Good
year,
luck.
but...
Yes, another disappointing year, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. And obviously, we got to preview the conference finals with our picks. Doigy, it's been a pleasure. Good luck with your golf picks. Good luck to Chuggy as well, the reigning champ.
And now that this hockey season is over for me watching, we're gonna go up there and play some golf.
That sounds good. I get home back here on Sunday, and I pretty much have got a month of nothing planned.
Perfect.
Fortunately, I was going to play in the Canadian PGA Championship, and I'm pretty frustrated. They moved for 35 years now. The deadline to enter the tournament has been 3 weeks out, and it's at the end of June. And I went online a couple of weeks ago to put my entry in, and they closed the entries on April 20th. So I didn't get my entry in.
Well, that's lame.
For the first time since 1985, other than the year I played in the U.S. Senior Open, I won't be playing in the Canadian PGA Championship.
Well, that's disappointing. Well, we'll come down there and we'll cheer you up with how poorly we play, and you can feel good about yourself.
Oh, okay, all right. We're gonna try to do a show right on the range.
Yeah, we have to.
And,
for sure.
Have some fun with that, and then
we'll do that.
And at the end of June, I'm in Listowel.
Perfect.
Rock and roll. Right. Love it, man. All right. Thanks Doigy.
Guys. Good to see everybody.
Thanks, Doigy.
All right. We'll be back with more instigating. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Wrapping things up here on Instigating with Clarkey and Drury for the week. Ryan Drury still joined by Clarkey. Thanks again to our buddy Ian Doig of the Ian Doig Golf Academy. Dude, he's the best. And when we want to talk golf, which we often do, And who would have had that a couple of years ago? Me wanting to talk golf so much,
right?
Who would have known? I'm right involved. I love it. Baseball, golf. I'm a growing individual, Clarkey.
Hey, I wanted to ask you. Let me start this conversation,
please. Oakland
A's to Vegas.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like John Fisher is a habitual. He's a habitual liar. They had this site approved with this binding agreement that didn't work out. Now they've got this other site with a binding agreement, but the last numbers I saw were them and the Nevada legislature were like $250 million apart on potential taxpayer payment toward building this goofy stadium in Las Vegas. And the A's and the city of Oakland at the Howard Terminal site, where they already have a design, they already have renderings done, they were only $88 million apart and that was to go toward the exterior infrastructure around the park. Like, the park was settled on the price of it all. So I think what's going to end up happening with the pressure that's mounting here, because I don't think that Las Vegas has, like, look, Clarkey, sports fans, like, we're not stupid. We're not oblivious to the facts anymore. Social media has given everybody access to so much. The people in Nevada are not dumb. They know exactly who John Fisher is, what he's about, and what he's not about. And I'll tell you the difference between the two. What he is about is being a silver spoon-fed little twit who is riding mommy and daddy's Gap money and just wants everybody to do everything for himself. He's not a businessman. He's never conducted any business. He's a silver spoon boy riding the wave of mommy and daddy's money. And you know what he isn't about? Fielding a competitive sports franchise. Why would the good people of Nevada, build this guy a brand new stadium when he's worth almost $3 billion? And why would anybody assume that after he gets that he would spend money on the team? He'll still be cheap. He'll still have the lowest payroll in baseball, and star players like Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, Liam Hendriks, Sean Murphy, go down the list. They'll all walk. So, like, why would anybody do that? That's my opinion on it. And we got another goofy sports franchise that we got to talk about.
Let's get right into that.
Yeah. Do you want to shift gears? Before we do that, though, speaking of shifting gears, what's going on right now with our friends over at Larry Hudson's? Tell me about it.
Well, still, the trucks are hot. There's lots on the lot.
Love it.
And right now, if you want to look at a 2.7 liter turbo truck, the interest rates are down now. They're at 1.99% financing, which is a great rate. 2.49 at 84 months, but 1.99 up to 72 months. So it's the time to pull the trigger. I have one. I love it. I don't do a lot of pulling, but it does pull 9,000 pounds. It's rated to pull 9,000 pounds every day of its life. They're a nice little engine. I love my truck, and there's more like it on the lot. So if you want one, come on down, take a look. See Clarkey or your sales rep. And there's lots of trucks to choose from. So, and we're seeing some new Colorados and Canyons now. The 23s are out, and they are hot looking as well. I love the look of them. They're totally newly redesigned for 23, and they're sweet. They're very sweet. That's all I can say.
We love that. Visit our friends, be it Clarkey or one of the other great reps down at Larry Hudson Chevrolet Buick GMC, 1000 Wallace Avenue, beautiful Listowel, Ontario.
Good switching gears.
You like that? Well, let's do another little tie-in. Speaking of towing 9,000 pounds, could one of those trucks, do you think, tow the entirety of the Arizona Coyotes franchise up to Quebec City for next year? Now, this is getting outrageous, Clarkey. You know, this is my least favorite thing to have to talk about. I'm sick and tired of talking about the Arizona Coyotes.
Of course you are. Everyone is, man.
This is a dumpster franchise run by dumpster people in basically a dumpster fire league. Like, this is another fire a la Atlanta Thrashers that the league has on their hands, and they just will not let go. Gary Bettman is essentially everybody except King Arthur pulling on the sword and the stone here. It's not coming loose, Scare Bear. I've had enough of this. And for somebody like yourself, Clarkey, who used to work for MLSE, I bet you companies like MLSE are sick of this. They have to help subsidize this dumpster franchise. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the Boston Bruins, the New York Rangers, the Canucks, all the Canadian markets that actually make money, they have to subsidize this nonsense.
Who would like this? Who would like this?
Well, and you know what?
Name another franchise.
No, exactly. You know, and right. You know what else is something that I kind of let skip my mind almost, and my girlfriend's dad actually brought this up. The players have got to be furious with this too. The Players Association just went through all that nonsense, rolling back salaries, eating into their hockey-related revenue to pay back the owners during the pandemic, not to mention all of the rollbacks that they had to take in this nonsense salary cap. And now they've got a team with 4,600 seats playing in a college rink, making no revenue, continuing to lose upwards of $15 million a year. That's $15 million US dollars a year in the red. And they're taking a chunk out of this too, the players. It's embarrassing, man.
Everyone is, man. Everyone is.
If you're not familiar, the other night, Tempe voted. The city of Tempe had a vote with a public vote, and of course, like most votes nowadays, the turnout was pretty low. I think it capped out at about 52%, but it was pretty unanimous on all three parts of the proposition that were part of this potential arena deal in Tempe. They all got unanimously voted down. And you know, we're seeing different aspects of the deal, and no, it technically wasn't publicly funded, but they wanted upwards of $200 million in tax, in property tax rebates. This is the most crazy thing. This is from a story in The Athletic. NHL sources indicated there's been a significant disparity in spending by political action committees tied to both sides. The belief is that the Coyotes spent less than $250,000 to activate and advertise the vote, opting for a bootstrap campaign, while the opposition spent upwards of $2 million, backed by high-power labor unions who have yet to receive a guarantee that they will be the ones who would build this arena. So no wonder this got voted down. And again, sports fans are not stupid, Clarkey. Not only are people there either completely sick of or ignorant that the Coyotes even exist, the people down there that would think, oh, wow, this would be a great deal for us as workers to build something like this, they didn't even have guarantees from the organization of the NHL that they'd be the ones contracted to build it. So you're going to tell me you're going to build a stadium for a team nobody cares about and not allow the local workers that are part of that economy the opportunity to build it? It makes
just no get out sense, now, dude. Right? Just get out now. Like what? Well, like don't wait. Like
well,
you know,
they're not
like
getting out.
I know.
They're playing at Mullet next year.
They're going to play at Mullet again. But I don't want to understand, because this rink wouldn't have been built anyway, Ryan. I'm sorry, I'm not totally up on this. But of course, where else were they going to play next year? They wouldn't have had an arena in place for next year. So where were they planning on playing anyway?
The optimistic outlook was that their rink would be ready for the 2024-25 season, again, potentially not till 25-26.
Right.
Clarkey.
So they were going to have to play there anyway next year, I would think. Right?
Yeah, that's written in stone. Now, today, as we record this part of the show, we're recording Thursday now after talking to Doigy. The Coyotes, the embarrassment never ends.
Gary doesn't seem to care.
Their social media team, I don't know if you've seen, have polls up on Twitter and Instagram asking fans to pick a location for them to build the stadium. And everybody's just quote tweeting it, going Quebec, Kansas City, Houston, anywhere but Arizona, right? Look, we've said this before, Clarkey. I understand why Gary wants to keep them there, because they're a massive television market. I believe they're the 8th biggest TV market in the United States. That is significant. However, if the market only has, and this is probably generous, Clarkey, if the market is 8th biggest, but you only have 10% of the people in the market ever turning on games, which again is probably generous, what the hell does it matter? They're going to build.
They're going to build. I'm sure Gary thinks they're going to build on that.
This franchise could have been a success. Look at Vegas. Look at Seattle. Rock solid ownership groups, guys with plenty of money who spent the appropriate amount of cash just to get in, let alone have buildings. and it was run properly. The Arizona Coyotes are either not on anyone's radar down there, or the people whose radar they are on, they're a joke to them. Yes, there are fans down there, but the fans are fed up with this too. Like, this franchise missed the mark too many times to attempt to be a success. And their biggest problem was moving out of downtown Phoenix when the Suns built their new building. They did not get in on that deal, and they thought, we'll be big brain guys, and they went for the cheaper option in Glendale. That's why that building happened, because they got a sweetheart deal with the city of Glendale to build cheaper out there than what it would have cost them to go in on a building with the Suns. And how did that work out? Brilliant idea. Let's build a stadium for a team that's barely relevant.
Who owns this
team? They were a good team back then. Dude, I can't even remember the guy's name. Xavier Gutierrez is the president and CEO, but the owner of the team, I can't even remember his name. He owns a bunch of pizza places, and he owns a casino in Reno and all this. Great. You own a casino. Good for you. You clearly can't run a sports franchise. Him and John Fisher should have dinner together. Talk about pizza and Gap t-shirts. This is embarrassing, and it has to stop. Somebody has to have
I don't see how it's going to.
I know. That's the crazy thing, is that this will probably just continue.
Yeah.
And somebody in the NHL head office, I don't know who it is, Bill Daly, somebody has got to take Gary aside and say, enough's enough. We've got to find
we have so many other markets that would be so much better.
I know that Gare Bear does not want to have another Canadian market. He does not want the Canadian revenue coming in because it's a loss. It's what, 74 cents on the dollar right now? But there were 18,700 fans at the Quebec Ramparts junior hockey game the other night in the QMJHL final. Centre Videotron is built and packed all the time with Quebec Ramparts fans watching Patrick Waugh coach the team. I would rather have steady in the black revenue at 74 cents on the American dollar than negative $15 million every year in a market that is just spent. It is spent. And I'm done with it. I just can't believe. How is anybody surprised? Like, is anybody out there surprised?
Exactly. I heard there was a big, in that referendum, there was a big advertising campaign, but the no vote advertised more than the yes vote. So
that's what I said. Yeah. That's the thing too. Yeah. Does this ownership group even care about getting a building? Because they spent $250,000 and were outspent by $1.75 million by the opposition. If you want the arena built that bad, how are you cheap? That's the problem with this team, really, in a nutshell. Every ownership group has been a joke, including when the league ran it, and they cheaped out on everything. We're talking about a franchise that during the bubble, the COVID bubble, had a bunch of checks bounce to staff, players, when their bonuses came up, their bonus checks. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was fuming, and he was gone like 2 months later. Bouncing checks, cheaping out on everything. We don't want to build a new arena downtown.
Well, look at the dressing room, the visitors' dressing room at Mullet.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a joke.
Now that's more a thing of circumstance that they've dragged themselves into. But every
I agree,
step
but
of the way
it still
of this organization,
sucks. It's terrible.
Oh, it's a joke. But every step of the way, every ownership group of this franchise has taken the cheap way out. Yeah. If it's the 8th biggest TV market, why are you not trying to make an impact down there and spend the appropriate money to make people hockey fans?
Hey, you mentioned a name there. Maybe Patrick Waugh come in and coach the Leafs.
Yeah, do you think he'd be a good?
I don't know.
He didn't work out so good in Colorado there.
I know. And maybe he's learned, but who knows?
I think he is kind of the Dale Hunter of the Q.
Yeah,
he likes to have his fingers on every little button of control of the franchise. I understand what you mean. You never know. Quickly, let's do our conference final picks. I know Adam will have graphics for the results. We both went 1 for 3 with our second round picks. We both had Dallas. That's the only one we had right. Thanks a lot, Leafs. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I'll let you reveal your conference final picks first. Why don't you start in the West? What do you got?
So I'm going against what I've been saying all along.
Okay.
Because I just think Vegas is too tough, and Vegas is going to take the Stars out in 7 games. It's been a crazy playoff with goalies, like not many goalies lasting games and getting pulled. I don't remember a playoff series where so many goaltenders have been pulled halfway through games, and it's happened for every team. Like Edmonton was like, poor Jack Campbell couldn't get a start if his life depended on it. Like maybe he got one. But he came in relief a couple times and looked pretty good, but Skinner couldn't do the job. But I'm picking Vegas in 7. Okay. And in the East, the Florida Panthers roll will not come to an end, and they're going to beat Carolina in 5 and roll on the way to the finals. And once again, a team that beat the Leafs will go to the Stanley Cup final.
There you go. Okay. See, I like this because we have complete opposite picks.
I figured you were going to pick the opposites. Yep.
I picked Dallas to win the Stanley Cup on my bracket.
Yep.
I like Jake Ottinger a lot. I would love to see the old wily vet Joe Pavelski, the tip master himself. I would love to see him finally get a cup. He deserves it. And I have them beating Vegas in 7. I think that series is bookmarked for 7. They're so similar. Yep. But give me the edge in net. The goaltending, I always lean goalie.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Ottinger's a stud, and I'm not so sure about what they got going on with old Larry Brossoit.
Well, if it goes 7 games,
Hill and
you know the record of
Mr. DeBoer.
Yeah, Pete DeBoer.
You could have an opportunity to go 8-0 in game 7s. Come on.
Right.
And then Carolina, I like Carolina to stop Florida. Even despite their injuries, they're going to get Toivo Teravainen back. And I just think that Carolina, I'm not taking anything away from Florida. Unbelievable. We're into the Final Four. You can't take anything away from these teams. But I look at that blue line with Carolina, and I like Brent Burns to face his old San Jose Sharks teammate in Pavelski in the Cup final. I just think that Carolina blue line is rolling. And Brent Burns, talk about rolling the odometer back. That dude looks like he's 28 years old right now. It's incredible.
Bobrovsky versus Anderson.
Bobrovsky versus Anderson. What a strange one, eh? It's been a weird playoff, but that's my picks. Carolina in 6, Dallas in
there we go.
7. It'll be interesting.
We're on. It will be
here.
Yeah.
Head to head here, my friend. All right. That's going to do it for us this week on Instigating. Thanks again to our buddy Ian Doig of the Ian Doig Golf Academy for joining us.
Our
Thanks
annual
to our great sponsors.
Our annual Leafs eliminated from the playoffs edition.
Yes, our annual edition. Hopefully it changes next year.
There's always next year.
Yes,
what I'm putting around the old tattoo, I'm going to put it on there. There's always next year.
Yeah, the old Leafs refrain, their 2 favorite words, next year, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to our great sponsors, Larry Hudson's Chevrolet Buick GMC in Listowel. You don't need to wait till next year if you want to get yourself a great vehicle, particularly a truck right now. Go see our buddy Clarkey here or any of the great reps down there and our friends over at the Listowel Squash Courts. I'm Ryan Drury. That's Clarkey. You can watch this show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod and find the show on all your favorite podcast apps. We debut on our YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. That's it for Instigating this week. No go to the Arizona Coyotes. They're coming to Quebec City. Quebec City croissants. Book it right now.
Nice.
Quebec City croissants. I'll design the jersey for free. We'll see you next week here on Instigating.